Hello, students. Today we're going to go over how to write our introduction paragraph. So we already have our thesis. Now we're just inserting it at the end of our introduction paragraphs. So here's the outline for your entire essay. And right now we're just focusing on the introduction. So that's our first paragraph. The introduction is the hook, which is one sentence that's meant to grab the reader's attention, 2 to 3 sentences of background information, and then the thesis that you've already written. There are different types of hooks. We're going to go over them in just a second. Be careful about starting with a question. If it is too simplistic of a question, it's going to throw off your entire paper. So the only time that you should start with a question is if your entire paper is going to be focused around answering a complex, higher order thinking question. Please do not start your essay with, in this essay, I'm going to write about. Okay, don't do it. For definition hook, I like going to Learner's Dictionary. So I'll show you what that looks like. We've been talking about morals, how myths teach morals. Those are beliefs about what is right behavior and wrong behavior. So if you want to define that word to start your essay, morals are beliefs about right and wrong behavior. That's fine. If you want to start with a startling fact, here's a picture of Ramses II. Ramses II was nicknamed ruler of rulers because he erected more monuments and statues and sired more children than any other pharaoh. Okay. Other people like starting with quotes. So if you're going to talk about leadership, that's one of your key points. You can start with a quote on leadership. My favorite place to go for quotes is brainyquote.com. You can just look up the word leadership. Make sure you're going to find authored quotes. So the author of the quote should be right underneath so you can give attribution. Alexander the Great said, "I am not afraid of an army of lions led by sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion." Okay. So then in your background, you would explain how that quote is going to match the content of your essay. If you're starting with a question, make sure it's higher order thinking. Like, what are the qualities of a hero? Or what makes a king mighty? And then your whole paper should be oriented around that concept. For background information, following your hook, you need 2 to 3 sentences that explain how the hook connects to the topic of your paper. Do not provide any information that the reader wouldn't know about. Make sure that you are leading them and that you are giving them general information. Remember that you can't assume your reader knows as much as you do about your topic because you've probably learned a lot over this trimester. At the end of your introduction is your thesis statement. A thesis statement is a one sentence statement that gives a roadmap of what your essay is going to argue. So we've already created our thesis. You should have said something to the effect of, two ways the ancient world continues to shape our world today are, and then you inserted key point number 1, and then you insert key point number 2. So you have already created your thesis. We started that on February 2nd. So if you look under attendance question for February 2nd, that's where we started our thesis. Okay. So your key points then will be the ideas for your body paragraphs. Here's an introduction. Here is an example of an imagined list. Imagine you just came home, frazzled from a long day. You sit down in your favorite spot when your doggy cuddles up to you and kisses your stresses away. There's an example of imagined list hook. Then we have 2 to 3 sentences of background information on how dogs shifted from being work animals to being domesticated pets. And then here is my thesis. There are many benefits to owning a pet, including health benefits, reduced loneliness, and increased socialization. So these are the key points for a 3 paragraph essay. Your homework for tonight is to write your introduction.